Speak to Inform. Lenny will deliver a 5 to 7 minute speech with a question and answer session of 2 to 3 minutes. Please help me welcome to the podium, Lenny Robinson.
Many of you may have heard that there is an impending shortage of engineers, scientists, and technical people in the United States. What some of you may not really realize is how bad it actually is going to be. Everything we use in this day and age is computerized in some way, from cell phones to your automobiles, to the computers that you use every day at work, to your ovens at home. Some engineer or scientist someplace had to come up with the idea on how that was going to work. What I am going to do today is show you some information to let you know how bad it actually is for STEM education. Now you're probably wondering to yourselves, what is STEM education? STEM is S-T-E-M, science, technology, engineering, and math. And these are disciplines that can be taught at very early ages. And what I have done is looked at, and if I've done some research, by reviewing information for AP exams from the College Board. What I did is I looked at the College Board exam results for Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin. And then what I've done, I'm going to show you the results of how the students worked on the exams. The first slide that I'm going to show you is the number of overall exams that were taken for AP placement. AP placement is advanced placement. When you take those classes, some of them you can get college credit while you're still in high school. As you will notice, Illinois there were approximately 90,000 AP exams taken in Illinois, which is the highest, down to about 35,000 AP exams that were taken in Wisconsin. So what I am discussing though is the number of computer science AP exams. So the next slide I'm going to show you is the total number of computer science AP exams. So in Illinois, they took approximately 90,000 AP exams. Only 1,600 students took the computer science AP exam. In Wisconsin, a little bit over 200 took the AP exam. And I realize that you don't really have any perspective to compare that to. So the next slide I'm going to show you, I'm going to compare to another AP exam. How many of you watch Dr. Phil? Or have heard of Dr. Phil? Or Dr. Laura? Any of those? Those are psychologists. Now, the blue line demonstrates how many students took the AP psychology exam compared to the number of students who took the AP computer science exam. So based on that slide, I think we have a lot of budding psychologists. Not that we don't really need thousands of psychologists, but I think we need much more science and computer science and technology. Another area that is near and dear to my heart that you also hear bad things about is minority representation in the science, technology, engineering, and math fields. The next slide that I'm going to show you will be minority representation. Women, African Americans, and Mexican Americans. Of the 90,000 people, AP exams taken in the state of Illinois, only 200 of those were women who took the computer science exam. If you look at African Americans, there were less than 50 of 90,000 in the state of Illinois. And Illinois actually did pretty good on the Mexican Americans because they are they are at about 80. So not only are there shortages of students taking the exam, there are also shortages of minorities taking the exams. And what I want to, and by presenting you these numbers, I want people to think about, is this really true that there's a shortage? And I think you can draw your conclusions from that. And another thing that I want you to consider is, what can I do to help? And what you can possibly do to help is there's various places that you can volunteer to go and teach students these types of things. One of them that I volunteer to teach, is a place called itechlansing.org, where we teach STEM to people from the community and to children and so on. And the previous bullet is, if you want any more additional information on college boards by state, because there's lots and lots of information for you to go read through, you can go into that website and check the information yourself. If anybody wants it, you can just send me an email and I'll send you the link so you don't have to write it all down, but there's a lot of useful information. So my purpose today was to try to give you information on STEM and the lack of computer science students in the U.S., and I hope I've been able to do that. Now I'm going to open up the floor to any questions that anyone has. Are there any questions? Yes.
Why is the state of Illinois so much higher? Is it because it's contingent upon their curriculum that they teach there?
Yes. Yes, the state of Illinois, their classes are, because you don't have to take AP classes to take the exam, but their curriculum is structured so that the students are better able to take the exams in other states.
They have more access to science, technology?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Any more questions? Greg?
I'm curious, I believe you volunteer to teach these classes in your own time with no pay.
Yes.
So I'm just curious, what do you get from it? I'd like you to.
What I get from this class, and I'll have to give you a little bit of background on myself in order to better answer this question. My great-grandfather has an elementary school named after him in Monroe, Louisiana. He taught people who were former slaves to read and write. My grandfather never actually graduated from high school, but he worked on the railroad, and his job on the railroad was similar to what a civil engineer does now. I have one uncle who is a mechanical engineer. I am an electrical engineer, and my son is an electrical engineer. So I have 4 generations of engineering in my family. So what do I get from it is I get to give back to the community what I have been receiving from my family as I've grown up.
Good answer.
Any more questions? If not, thank you very much for your time.